Now that is a beautiful sunset. All right, everyone. So I have my tripod set up here with the star tracker, and as you guys can see right behind me, you will see the Big Dipper constellation, one of the most iconic constellations in my opinion. Then you'll see over to the left hand side here the North Star, which the top of the Big Dipper is going to face. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is point my star tracker towards that North Star there, and that is how you get your star tracker to rotate in correlation to the Earth on its axis. The reason why I'm setting up my star tracker to face towards Polaris is because that is the North Star, and the Earth rotates on its axis in correlation to that North Star there. So if I'm able to point the tracker at the North Star, that's going to align it in the right direction so that when it rotates, it follows that rotation of the Earth. And when my camera takes a picture, there is no longer any star trailing. Those stars are going to be pin sharp when I do long exposures. The best way to be able to set up the tracker, in my opinion, is to use a green laser so you can actually see the path of that laser and what exact star you're pointing at. And so as you guys can see, that's that laser there. And I want to be able to point this towards the North Star, which is right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and briefly turn that off because you want to be really careful with planes when it comes to using green lasers. It is illegal to shine any green laser at a plane, so you always want to make sure there's no planes in the sky, so don't just leave that on if you are going to use it. So I have it in the general direction of Polaris here, and what I'm going to do is point this downwards more so that I can get this directly facing or directly on top of Polaris. And that looks pretty good. So I'll go ahead and turn that laser off, and from there I can make more accurate adjustments within the polar scope to make sure that when I do longer exposures, these stars are being tracked correctly. Alright, what's up everyone? So I just finished taking some pictures of the Orion Nebula and the Orion's Belt, which is just above me here, and I ended up getting over 100 minutes worth of data, so basically just under 100 pictures all at 1 minute exposures. So it should be pretty good detail coming out of this Orion's Nebula. I did end up shooting it at 50 millimeters, so it is wider than you typically see a nebula shot. However, I wanted to get more of a wide field composition, and also my telephoto lens isn't the greatest. The 50 millimeter lens is super high quality and sharp, so I figured if anything I can just crop it in and pull more detail out of it that way. It was an amazing night, super clear skies, no wind. It was just so beautiful out here. It was just so relaxing, and I could just stay out here all night, but I have to work tomorrow morning. I'll be including the picture of the Orion Nebula in this video. It'll probably take me a little bit to do the editing since I'm not really used to doing the nebula editing, and it is more labor intensive when it comes to that. But something else that actually happened was I decided to take a panorama of the Milky Way, the winter Milky Way with Orion and Andromeda Galaxy. So I think I got some really cool shots of that, and I used the 20mm lens on my Nikon Z6 here to capture the panorama that's just going over the night sky. One thing I do want you to notice in this panorama is there is a lot of light pollution on the horizon, especially in the middle under the Milky Way arch, and that's because we're facing towards Auburn and Sacramento and the big cities. So I did my best to pull out the detail in the Milky Way, even though there's so much light pollution, but I think it's gonna be a pretty cool image regardless. This is my first time actually getting decent images of the Milky Way, or the winter Milky Way. I've tried it before in the past, but I didn't have the right lenses. They were just too long in focal length for me to get the whole thing. So pretty stoked with how that's gonna turn out. Yeah, like I said, just beautiful night. Can't wait for more clear skies. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys next time. Because the Earth rotates on its axis with in parallel to the so the Earth rotates on its fucking goddamn, is so that you can follow the Earth rotating on its axis. If you understand how the North Star works, you'll understand that the axis is fucking, I can't explain this. Jesus Christ.